On today's episode of Titus and Tate, we're talking about your family, your religion, and Rutgers basketball. Rutgers. Ron Harper Jr. hits a, we'll call it a half-court shot. We'll round up. We'll call it a half-court shot.
It was first Jordan-esque, and then it was Curry-esque. He had a Jordan fadeaway, and then he hits a half-court shot.
That's right. Yeah. How about that? Down goes number one for the second consecutive week, Tate.
Coach
Purdue
Titus.
Boilermakers. Yeah.
He's somewhere dancing.
Dude, I know exactly where he was because he FaceTimed me immediately and was cackling like a madman. Purdue Boilermakers went down. They lost. As first reported on Titus and Tate by my father, they had not played a true road game. He said that when they do, it'll be a different story. And sure enough, the number one Purdue Boilermakers have in fact lost, Tate. There it is.
There it is.
The state of New Jersey, by the way, was the focal point of the entire night. Because
Piscataway. A lot of Piscataway talk.
Piscataway. Yeah. Jersey Mike's Arena.
I love that. That was the best part.
I don't know how I feel about Jersey Mike's Arena.
They're like, Jersey Mike's Arena is going crazy.
The arena used to be called the RAC, the Rutgers Athletic Center, I believe. And that just rolled off the tongue, the RAC. And now you're like Jersey Mike's Arena. I don't even picture the sandwich shop. I picture a guy named Jersey Mike.
Flexing.
Like, this is my arena. Welcome to my arena.
Yeah. Same.
But the whole state of New Jersey was a big winner because Seton Hall Tate knocks off number 7 Texas.
New Jersey's a basketball state. You know what I mean?
That's what we learned, dude. Yeah. Monmouth took St. John's to the wire tonight. How about that? New
Shout
Jersey.
out to King Rice.
There's a lot to talk about. Fraud Friday. Purdue may or may not make an appearance on the list. I don't know. We'll see. Pac-12 update is coming up. Which is a very special Pac-12 update for our friend Mr. Wildbags.
Yes.
A ton of fun games as well. Wisconsin, Indiana was a fun one. Tennessee, Texas Tech was not really fun, but it was close. It went to overtime. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit.
We got to talk about Texas.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Texas and Seton Hall for sure. All of that coming up, but first.
What are you doing?
All right, in case we forget to bring it up, we're recording this as Iowa State is putting the finishing touches on beating the snot out of Iowa. So if we forget to talk about that, that's why the game's kind of happening right now. We're fresh off of watching Purdue lose, so that's going to be our focal point today, I think, Tate. Is the number one when the number one team in the country loses, I think it's okay to devote the entire show basically to that, right?
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense.
I want to point this out. This is the Big Ten stat of the day that has been sent to me. Neil Armstrong spent more time in space than Purdue spent as the number one team in the nation.
What a stat.
That's the Big Ten stat of the day.
What a stat.
And
he spent more time on the moon than
in space, not on the moon.
Oh, in space.
In space.
Damn it.
I have to qualify.
Okay.
But on the moon sounds better.
On the moon sounds better.
It was like, the Remember the Titans when he's like, you had 12 brothers and sisters. He's like 8 and he's like 12 sounds better. He spent more time on the moon.
On the moon.
Better.
Neil Armstrong was in space. Either way.
Either way, it's good.
Neil Armstrong did go to Purdue. I don't know how many people are aware of that, but he did. He went to Purdue.
Yes, no joke.
Purdue lost. Let's start there. My dad was right. I'm going to talk about my dad real quick. I'll get that piece out of the way because I have
my own story to tell on the other side of your dad, because there was some Purdue people that reached out to me asking, quote unquote, was your dad being serious?
Well, you have your answer. You now have your answer. One Purdue guy reached out to me and said that the paid rivals forum of Purdue was going nuts about my dad. Like somehow a link or video clip or something I didn't see it because I don't subscribe. My money goes directly to the university. I don't pay rivals to talk about Purdue. I'm a booster that pays on the Purdue Day of Giving. But apparently my dad had just infuriated like all the old head Purdue fans. And I told my dad, he was like, good. But in case you missed it, my father was on the show on Tuesday. He is 1980 class of 1980 from Indiana University. He's a Purdue hater. And I had him on the show just basically because, number one, I love the man dearly. And
verified Purdue hater, by the way.
Yes, verified Purdue hater. But I wanted him to I just wanted to see how not mad he was. That was the theme. I was like, Dad, how mad are you? And as he said over and over, he was not mad at all. He made that very clear to everybody.
Yeah,
He's definitely not upset.
No.
And the entire time we were talking to him, I was cackling laughing because I was
we both were.
This is absurd.
I was guilty by association. Yes. I couldn't help. Purdue fans were mad at me. They're like, why are you laughing so much? I was like, I don't know. I found it funny.
This man is absurd. This man is talking about the 2 points he made were, if the AP pollsters are so smart, then why have they been wrong twice already on who's number one?
Good point.
Which I was like, that's a pretty good point.
Fair point.
And number 2, he said Purdue hasn't even played a road game, and USC, who has played 3 road games already, should be ranked number 1 because they are 3-0 on the road. and Purdue hasn't played a true road game. So he was going with the Graham Couch.
Shout out to Graham Couch.
The Graham Couch.
AP voter Graham Couch.
Yeah, the train of thought that he used when he didn't rank Duke and the Zion, RJ Barrett.
We respect. That's the one thing. If you have principles as an AP voter and you live by them and you stand by them and you vote by them, we respect that.
So my dad comes on the show. He makes all of his points as to why Purdue being number one is fraudulent, why he's not actually mad at all, on and on and on. And I'll be goddamn, Tate, the very first road game that they play after that, they lose. And my dad called me the second, in fact, before, because I subscribe to YouTube TV. I'm a cord cutter. So I'm watching on delay, obviously. That's the one drawback of it. And my dad is FaceTiming me as Ron Harper is catching the ball to dribble up the court. And I just see the FaceTime coming in and I'm like, what the heck is this? And as I hit accept, as I'm like watching the thing and I hit accept, the shot is going up. And I as the shot is going in, I have my dad cackling. Like he just answers the phone. I answer the phone. He's just absolutely cackling. And my dad wanted to be clear because I tweeted a picture of him smiling, grinning ear to ear, and he's covered it. He just could not believe what was transpiring. He was not mad Purdue was ranked number one. He made that clear. And he wants to be clear that he is not mad that Purdue lost. He was not laughing at Purdue losing. He was just so happy that he was right. That's what he said.
It had nothing to do with Purdue.
It had nothing to do with Purdue. He's like,
it wasn't like he was thinking about Purdue. He was
like, I don't think about Purdue at all,
yes,
ever. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, today at 9:48 a.m., I get a text from Robbie Hummel, friend of the program. Robbie Hummel says to me, I watched your guys' segment with Titus's dad. Thought it was even funnier watching IU implode last night. Laugh out loud. And I'm put laughing, and then he goes, "Was his dad being totally serious? Like I get not liking your rival, but some of the things he was saying, I was like, really, I said, I think he's being a little over the top, but that's really how he feels, Yeah. And he's like, Indiana fans, rare breed, and then I'm like, we're gonna have him on again, after they play. And he was like, that'd be amazing. So he left it at that. But that's what Robbie. So
Robbie was calling the game.
And then Robbie Hummel is calling the game tonight. And I'm watching the game and I'm thinking to myself, I had heard from Robbie today. He obviously took some umbrage to what Coach Titus said on our program about Purdue, especially probably the PU and the stinky, you know what I mean? Just like all the little, pot shots that he was taking. But then Robbie Hummel had to send front row and call the moment as Ron Harper Jr. hit that shot. And it was like this full circle moment as I sat there. And I mean,
how was Robbie on the call? Cause as I said, my dad FaceTimed me. So I didn't even listen to what happened. I just saw the shot go down and then my dad just laughing and I'm laughing. My brother's on the call too. We're laughing. So I didn't see Robbie. Was he professional? Did he keep it?
He was very professional.
Okay.
And he said,
good job, Robbie.
This is how professional and what a sportsman, this guy. After the game, he said that Rutgers deserved to win this game.
Ooh,
he said that.
Wow,
he said that. I was like, that's really big because I would not have said that. A guy did like a step over from half court and a shot. He's like, they deserve to win the game. So I thought that was pretty big of him. But I mean, Ron Harper Jr., that fadeaway that he hit even before the half court shot, that was big time.
Yeah.
And if you were watching this game as it was, kind of cascading down, there were moments where you thought Purdue had sealed it. Like Jay Ivey had that big steal and dunk. And when they had cut it to 4 and you
full
were like,
disclosure, we were watching at our respective homes, and we had to drive in for the show. And Purdue got up 10 and I had not I worked out earlier in the day and I hadn't showered and I was doing the math of like, all right, if I watch the rest of this game, I'm gonna have to hurry to get ready to go in.
That's never fun.
And I was like, all right, I think I'm just gonna. I don't want to sit around and wait and then watch Purdue just like pull away and then beat myself up as I'm in a rush to get here to do the show. So I jumped in the shower and I took a little speaker with me and I was listening to the call on the speaker as I was in the shower. And that's my way of saying like I also thought it was over. Like I in my mind I was like, all right, this one's probably over. I'll take the speaker just in case, but it's probably. Purdue should pull away, and they just didn't. They simply did not. They did what every Purdue fan knew that they would do, which is be annoyed at the number one team in the country and immediately blow it, because that is Purdue basketball in a nutshell. And I'm not laughing. I'm just pointing out the facts, which the facts are every single Purdue fan I know, literally every single one was like, I love that we're number one. This is a fun day, but now I'm nervous as hell because I know what happens next. I've seen this movie before. I don't think they knew they were going to lose to Rutgers, but I think they were anticipating.
But Rutgers had won 3 in a row, so they kind of had Purdue's number a little bit there. And what is the rule of basketball? Like your stars travel well, but your role players don't.
Yeah.
And when you look at this game, the 3 stars of Purdue showed up and played well. You know what I mean? They got their numbers. They did what you're expected to do. But
can we talk about
the rest
Jaden
of the
Ivey a
guys.
little bit?
Yeah,
Because
let's talk about it.
I was obviously in the offseason singing this man's praises, and I said he was National Player of the Year, going to be National Player of the Year good, which was me just parodying what Mike Conley told me when he worked out with Jaden Ivey one time. Sorry to spill my sources there, to reveal my sources.
Yeah, no, I think you're just mad at Mike. Especially after the suite story. Mike,
that's true. That's
Mike
true.
might be setting you up. You know
Jim,
what I mean?
when you were in the suite, did Mike talk about Jaden Ivey to you at all? Or,
no, he pretended he didn't know us.
Interesting. So Ivey has been otherworldly to start the season. I think it'd be fair to say he's been a first-team All-American caliber player, right? That seems pretty fair. But I think if you've watched a lot of Purdue basketball, I don't know how to phrase it, because you wouldn't say that they have a Jaden Ivey problem, certainly, because we've talked about it before, that like what sets this Purdue team apart is literally just Jaden Ivey. I mean, like they haven't had a player like him ever in the history of that program, except maybe John Wooden in 1932. I've never seen the tape on him.
From what I've seen, more athletic.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen it. We'll take your word for it. But at the same time, Tate, watching a lot of Jaden Ivey, especially in like close game, like the Iowa game and this game tonight, when he gets trapped in the corner and travels, and
the heat of the moments. Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a choker. I'm not saying. I'm saying that Jaden Ivey sometimes has the Daquan Cook gene, where he doesn't appear to have any idea what the timer score is. He just knows that he's here to ball, and like more often than not, that's awesome. But every so often, especially if I know Purdue fans, like I think I know Purdue fans, which is like, they want to see the bounce passes and the fundamentals and all that. And Jaden Ivey doing a windmill when they're up by 3 on the breakaway tonight. I know there are Purdue fans in my family that were probably mad about that he like made the dunk, but he did a windmill. They were like, just lay it in.
That windmill dunk, to me, I thought that was when it was a 4-point game. He gets the steal, and it was a rip steal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of like Purdue was on their heels a little bit, and then he has this confident steal, the strip, goes down, throws down the windmill, and I say to myself, oh, I like the confidence of Jaden Ivey right now. But you're right. Immediately after that, it was like back to your regularly scheduled program of we're on our heels and we're concerned.
Here's the question. Is it confidence or is it obliviousness? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think like all of us watching are like, wow, to be that confident in that moment, that's crazy that he knew that the score was this and the time was this and the moment was this.
Well,
and my question is, my rebuttal is, what if he didn't know? What if he just saw that there was no one there and he's like, I'm going to windmill it and this will be sick for the gram? I don't know. That's my question moving forward with Purdue. Is I love Jaden Ivey, super talented, but
is he the point guard?
There's going to be Purdue fans are going to slowly like. I don't know. I just know how Purdue fans operate, and they're slow. It's going to slowly erode at them as they realize that like what makes this team so special, it's also going to shoot them in the foot in close games, which is basically Jaden Ivey trying to do too much.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But that's the difference between, we were talking about this idea of a lead guard or a scoring guard, and there's a lot of those guys, but they play the point guard position,
right?
But they might not necessarily have the point guard mentality and the time and score and the management of the moment and things like that. And if Ivey's not that guy, maybe a decision is made like in these certain situations, Stefanovic or whoever it is,
Thompson
is on the ball.
Yeah.
And he's in control of these situations. And that's hard to do when you have an NBA style caliber player, because they're going to say,
because if you give the ball to Thompson and
then he screws up,
you're like, why would Ivey have the ball? And sometimes like a word like tonight, Ivey, there were times that they're getting pressed and Ivey's just like, I'm going to simply dribble around everybody and just be more athletic and bring the ball.
No, of course.
And that works. So you're like, all right, well, we don't want to keep the ball out of this guy's hands. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's like that's the dilemma. It's the give and the take. You're for better or worse, Purdue is going to ride the Jaden Ivey roller coaster all season. And I don't know how many losses that's going to be. I honestly felt like this game, even at halftime when they were down, I still thought Purdue was going to win. I thought this was going to be the wake-up call game, like the close call.
Everyone's going to play you like you're the number one team in the country.
Yes. And they're like, oh, damn, we have a huge target on our back. Now we go and, maybe they'll lose at some point, but like, they're going to come out alive. And I guess they kind of were. They were one half-court shot away from that being the case. Damn.
And the good news, if you're Purdue, your next game is NC State. That's the good news. Right?
Where's that game?
Yeah, I think it might be at NC State, honestly. Yeah, it's at NC State.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, it's neutral.
Oh, it's neutral? Okay.
Yeah. So where are they playing? Oh, Barclays. They're playing at Barclays.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Strange.
But you're looking at the app that has NC State as the home team.
Yeah, as the home team.
They're playing at Barclays. So, yeah, I don't know. They'll be fine. Yeah, they'll get back on track. My dad, by the way, he told me, I forgot to say this. He because I had a lot of people asking me how my mom was handling it and all that kind of stuff. 'Cause
yeah.
Anytime.
No, my mom always asked me to ask you about your mom.
Yeah.
She's like, can you
Yes.
ask Titus how excited his mom is about
Yes.
Purdue?
Yes.
As opposed to
Yes.
the
So,
Indiana fan.
Here's a little story. In FaceTiming my dad after the game, my mom was there too, and we were all talking about what had just transpired. My mom tells me, I go, Mom, how are you feeling? What are your emotions? Whatever. Cause I said it on the last show. My mom's the type of person that like, I wouldn't have been surprised if she's like, I just hope everyone had fun tonight. And I hope, like
she was like, I'm so proud of
our
that
boys.
shot
Yeah.
or that shot that he made.
Yeah.
What an impressive shot.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
Yeah. I'm proud of Matt Painter handling this with class. That's it. Whatever.
Robbie was so great on the call afterwards.
Yeah. That's how my mom is. So I asked her how she's feeling. She's like, she goes, well, to be honest with you, I don't feel that attached to this Purdue team yet. And I was like, why is that? And she goes, well, your dad won't let me watch him. She goes, so here's the story. There's 10 minutes left of the game or whatever it was where Purdue was up 10. You know, that stretch, the point where I jumped in the shower. It was like, it's not over yet, but it's feeling,
looks over.
Looks like it might start to be over.
Yeah.
My dad wanted to turn the game off and throw on a different game. Iowa State maybe was about to start. I don't know. My dad was just like, get this off my television. I don't want to watch this anymore. And my mom complained because she said that all of her Purdue people want to talk to her about Purdue and they'll mention names and she does it like she didn't know necessarily who Caleb First was. He's a freshman kid and she like knows the name, but she's like, I want to watch him. So when I talk to my Purdue friends,
they know that I'm watching.
They know that I'm watching, and I can like, come on, Bill. Like this is BS. Let me enjoy my alma mater as well. So my dad, being the gentleman that he was, handed her the remote, like crossed his arms, and started pouting. But my dad wanted to turn the game off, and my mom made him leave it on.
And then he got to watch this.
And then he watched it. And then he calls me immediately. My mom's like crying. Not really, but she's bound over there. My dad cackling, pointing in her face.
Yeah. He's like, I'm so glad you let this game on.
God, I love you, Laura. Oh, man. What hope did I have being raised by those two?
Yeah, that's great.
My God. So,
that's great.
Purdue moving forward, are we worried?
I'm not worried. I
don't think so either.
Yeah.
I honestly do still think they're the best team in the country.
I do too, and I think it's honestly better to have if you're gonna have this moment where you slip up as the number one team. I mean, yes, you wish that you could have maybe a week or 2 weeks, and kind of ride that high, but you deal with it. I think you bounce back. I think you remind people that you have the best front court in the country, and I mean, Travion Williams was great in this game. I mean, and he made the go. We can't forget that Purdue did answer the bell. You know what I mean? Like
that's what I'm saying. Like I think
they honestly, did what you'd expect without a half court shot.
Right. My takeaway is like this was supposed to be the game that Purdue gets the wake up call, and then we see how they respond moving forward. And unfortunately, unfortunately for Purdue fans, Ron Harper hits a disgusting shot that.
Well, Ron Harper knew it was the race of 69, and
that's true. That was.
He was like, "I'm taking the shot."
That's true. So we're not worried about Purdue. We're both in agreement there. What about Texas? Texas also lost on this night at Seton Hall. This was a pretty good game. It got a little ugly towards the end. Then there was the delay for like 15 minutes. I don't know what the hell they were trying to sort out, but
probably trying to sort out why they're playing each other. And if you're wondering at home, it's because it's a part of the Big East Big 12 battle. Do you know this?
Wait.
Yes.
Dude, I didn't even put it together because like UConn played West Virginia.
Yes, exactly.
I was watching Butler in Oklahoma.
I think that's what they were talking about for 15 minutes. They're like, do you think we didn't remind enough people that this is a part of a
Why didn't we brand this?
It's a month-long battle. Do you know this? Between the Big East, yes, and the Big 12. It's a month-long battle. Yes.
Hold on, I'm Googling this. What's it called?
It's called the Big East, or maybe it's the Big 12 Big East battle. Started in 2019. The Big East won 8 games. The Big 12 won 2. In 2020, they had 4 games canceled because of COVID. And this year, it is the Big 12 Big East showdown, and it is the Big East claim that they are the best.
That's why
in
Kansas
basketball.
played St. John's.
Yes.
I'll be damned.
Yes.
I thought all of these were just like one-off, but now that you pointed out, there are a lot of Big East teams.
But the ACC Big Ten Challenge, which is all this is, morphed out of, it's a 1 week thing. You all understand the game. You know what I mean? We know why we're here. This is a month-long thing, Titus.
Villanova, Dude, Villanova's playing Baylor this weekend. For if Baylor wins, they're going to be the new number one.
Yeah.
If Villanova wins, they might have an argument to be. Probably not. I mean, we've already lost a couple, but
Duke's going to be number one.
Duke's going to be number one. If Baylor loses, Duke's going to be number one.
Duke's number one.
Duke's back. But they played this weekend. All this time, I thought Jay Wright just signed. I was like, damn, Jay Wright, that's sick, dude, that you're signing up to play all these at UCLA, at Baylor.
Challenge or battle. Sorry, this is a battle.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But fire the guy, the brander of this. My God.
How did I find out? Barely. You know what I mean? I was watching. They said this is a part of the Big East Big 12 battle, and I was like, wait a second.
Did it have a logo when they said that, or did they just
didn't flash a logo? They did not flash a logo.
Did they flash like a scoreboard of like here's where the standings are?
No. They don't even let you know. They're just like, these teams play each other. Just get over it.
Oh my God. Anyway, Seton Hall wins. My big takeaway: Seton Hall is a
fun team.
They're gonna be a
Seton
fun team.
Hall.
They're gonna be good. But we tend to have more fun talking about the losers on this program. So I want to talk about Texas because Texas was a team that I dubbed a fraud out of the gate when they got smoked by Gonzaga. I'm slowly believing in them a little bit more, but I think ultimately the success that Texas has, as is the case with basically every other team in college basketball, comes down to their guard play.
Yeah.
And I don't trust their guards, which is weird because Marcus Carr has given me so many nightmares throughout my life that now I'm watching Marcus Carr and I'm like, I don't think this guy is that good. And that's very bizarre for me to say that because if there's one person that should believe in the power of Marcus Carr, it's me.
You're like, I've seen him be amazing.
Anyway,
Texas is weird. They have like a 6-man rotation. Andrew Jones played 32 minutes in this game.
Off the bench, right? He doesn't even start anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're just a weird team. They're definitely not the number 7 team in the country. I could see Chris Beard figuring out this team, and by March, they're a scary 5 seed or 4 seed or something like that. But I don't think they're a top 10 team.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think Trey Mitchell.
I don't think they ever were. I think this was all hype.
It was a lot of hype.
It looked really good on paper.
It was a lot of. They're the Lakers of college basketball. Like they have all the pieces on the paper.
Grizzlies,
like damn.
Yeah, Grizzlies beat the Lakers, by the way. Tonight.
There's your NBA update.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. Chris Vernon's got to be going crazy. Chris Vernon has left the Memphis Tigers, and he has gone back to the Grizzlies.
Going back to the Grizzlies. Obi Agu didn't even play most of the game for Seton Hall. Like rolled his ankle. That was supposed to be one of Seton Hall's big. I mean, he's obviously very good, but that was going to be a what am I trying to say? An advantage for them. And they didn't even have them. They still pulled it off.
Geo Baker also didn't play tonight. So this is a big night of like New Jersey guys that were missing big pieces, but still getting wins.
Still getting the dubs.
Yeah. So New Jersey basketball toughness.
Who else did Seton Hall beat? That I know Ohio State beat them, but you're not going to hear the mainstream.
Seton Hall beat Michigan.
You're not going to hear the mainstream media talk about that. Oh, that's right. That's why they Seton Hall won at Michigan, and that's why when they beat Texas tonight, the way they were phrasing it, that's why I didn't know who it was because they're like their second top 10 win, but they wouldn't say who it was.
That was the first Big East challenge of the year, right? They played the Big
That's
Ten.
right. That's right. That was the Big East.
The Big East is trying to make some noise.
But then when they played Ohio State, that wasn't part of a challenge. That's why we beat them.
Yes, exactly.
Michi Johnson.
They're like, this isn't about the conference right now.
Michi Johnson hit the buzzer beater to win it. So Texas moving forward, you're I think
I'm out, and I was never in.
Recalibrate. I'm out, and I was never in. That's a good way of putting it. Recalibrate the expectations if you're for all the Texas fans listening. Because going into the season, it was Final Four. That was the expectation. Where are we at now?
I think Sweet 16, you're really excited. I think making the tournament and having some stability, you're like, okay, Chris Beard year 1 doesn't count. Next year we get Chris Beard.
Sweet 16, I'd be really
ecstatic.
I mean, you shouldn't be based on the preseason expectations, but as Coach Titus pointed out, those are nonsense.
Yeah,
the people that vote on that stuff don't know what they're talking about. So,
except for Graham Couch,
I'm with you though. I think Texas. I think a Sweet 16 that's certainly not the ceiling. That should be like the expectation. That would be
that's what you look at this team and you say, hey, let's make the Sweet 16. Let's get to the second weekend. Let's get people excited about the Chris Beard era.
If Marcus Carr and Askew can figure it out, I don't know what that means, but just start making shots, maybe. Then it's a whole different ballgame because I do think Timmy Allen and Trey Mitchell are good. I think they're legitimately good. Timmy Allen is the best player on the team for sure.
I agree.
For sure. Yeah. And then Trey Mitchell is coming along nicely, I think. But you got to have guards to win, as we know. in the NCAA tournament. And I don't know. Ramey and Andrew Jones and Marcus Carr are just like they're all old as shit too. Like we've seen. So I'm kind of out on the idea of them getting better only because like. Well, they're all 25 years old, basically.
And they're all still playing the exact same way. It'd be one thing if we came back this year and Ramey had, shifted his game or in some sort of capacity, or Marcus Carr for that matter.
Right.
But they are who we thought they were,
And Marcus Carr, who I thought he was, is a guy who got 2 coaches fired. Never forget that. What if Chris Beard gets fired? Marcus Carr gets 3 coaches
Expectations
fired.
are never good. You know what I mean? Look at Mark Turgeon.
What else? What else do we want to talk about? You want to do Pac-12 update?
Yeah, let's do that
because I'm gonna make this Pac-12 update very narrow-minded. I usually when I do Pac-12 updates,
you run down the gamut. Right?
I usually run down the gamut. I'm touching every team. If you have a Pacific time code, you're getting a shout out on the Pac-12 update. But not the case this time. I want to focus on one team, and that team is the Arizona Wildcats, Tate, because they are good. They are very, very, very good. They're very good. And in fact, I think I know the secret sauce as to why Arizona is so good. It is a man whose name might be familiar to you, Steve Robinson. Are you aware of this?
Yes.
Did you know this?
Yeah. My guy. He was trying to get NBA jobs.
I had no idea.
Coach Rob, baby.
I missed that until I was watching Arizona. Like
it's ridiculous.
Connected the dots.
Coach Rob is the man.
Tell everybody who Coach Rob is.
Steve Robinson was one of Roy Williams' top assistants at North Carolina. And, he was number 2 in command, coached at Florida State. He was the original Leonard Hamilton. You know what I mean? He was down there trying to build a program at Florida State. Came with Roy Williams and was obviously a national champion. But when Hubert Davis took over, he did not retain Steve Robinson, did not retain Kendall Marshall, 2 guys that I really liked, but decided not to retain them. And Steve Robinson was going to the NBA, was looking at NBA jobs. And then he gets a call from Sir Tommy Lloyd. He says, you know what? I'm building a program down in Tucson, and I need your experience. And Coach Rob jumped at it, and I'm happy for him. 8-0, the Wildcats.
Dude, they are beating the snot out of everybody.
Yeah,
everybody.
They look like the blue blood Arizona.
They
know
are
what I mean?
good, dude.
Arizona can be both. Sometimes they're blue blood, sometimes they're not. But they're looking like the Arizona.
Here's what's terrifying if you're the rest of the. And here's why I want to focus on Arizona. Number one, we haven't talked about it much this year.
Not at all.
And not really at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are a very, very young team, Tate. They are an extremely young team, which could go either way. Like sometimes it's traditionally in college basketball, that's a good thing because you're going to watch these guys grow together. And it's like this year is almost a free year. Just wait till next year when they're. But as we know, in the modern day, maybe sometimes it's not as good. Maybe it means like all these guys are going to be gone immediately, and they're just here to pop off one time and get the hell out of there.
Yeah,
I don't know, but the point is, as this season progresses, these are still Tommy Lloyd's kids. These are not his guys yet, and they're beating the hell out of everybody.
Yes,
you understand where I'm going with this?
Yes.
Like the fact that you're this young and this good so fast is crazy. They also are I saw this shout out to my KenPom subscription that they're like the 2nd tallest team in the country behind Florida State. They're giants. They're all a bunch of giants. They're young. They play fast, the 2nd fastest pace in the country amongst power conference teams behind Marquette. They play with pace. They have a ton of fun, and you're gonna love this because we know Tommy Lloyd is the international guru of Gonzaga basketball, or had been forever.
Yes.
Let me count them up. I wrote them all down. All the international dudes that are on this team. And what's funny is like a lot of them are Sean Miller's guys. Mathurin is Canadian. Koloko is from Cameroon.
Yeah.
Krisa is Estonian. Tubelis is Lithuanian. All those dudes were Sean Miller guys. So you have those 4 countries: Canada, Cameroon, Estonia, Lithuania.
And we had talked about this when Sean Miller was at Arizona, that he was going
international.
Yeah.
He gave up on
He was going global. He was like, I'm done with AAU in America. Yeah.
I'm done trying to get the 5 stars from LA and San Francisco, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the Bay Area.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm done with that. I'm going international. So you got those guys. Tommy Lloyd guys, he's got guys from Mali. M-A-L-I? How do you say that?
It's Bali. So
it's Mali?
I think
it's Mali.
Jim, look it up.
Jim, you like Mali, don't you?
Who doesn't?
Mali, Sweden. They have a dude from France that's not in the rotation, but he's like
what's
a freshman.
his name?
I forget.
Okay.
They have an assistant from Italy, and then they have the Tommy Lloyd brought the assistant from Gonzaga that was Rui Hachimura's translator.
Oh yeah,
He's an American dude, but he has Japanese citizenship and is fluent in Japanese. They have the international flavors, the point, Tate. So that makes them fun too, because it's like it's like you're watching it's USA versus the world basically, and they are the world, and they're wrecking everybody, and they're awesome, and that's that.
And we should say when you watch Gonzaga, right, there is a little bit of what's going on here. You have that feeling at times.
Yeah,
and then you watch Arizona, and you're saying, wow, they lost like a really good guy. You know what I mean? And not like the good guys that we talk about. We're talking about a real program builder and a guy who gets it, obviously. Tommy Lloyd is passing the test with flying colors so far, and he's doing it under the radar. He must be learning from Andy Enfield.
He is a little bit, dude.
No one's talking about him.
Or, hold on, I now that I hear us talking out loud, maybe it's the Pac-12. Maybe the Pac-12 network is.
Well,
maybe that's
luckily
the problem is,
for everyone that listens to Titus and Tate, friends of the program, you get the Pac-12 update, so you're actually in the know. And if you watched the NCAA tournament last year, you were really in the know.
I want to. I wonder who the furthest guy that lives, or girl, not to assume, that listens to our show, that subscribes to the Pac-12 network, who lives the furthest away. Like, where do you live in the world?
Ooh.
Is it like the mountain times?
It's
like I live in Denver.
No, it's someone in Latvia.
Yeah, that's probably right. It's one of these guys' parents or something.
Yeah, exactly. And they're just like in Estonia. And they're watching Pac-12 network.
Their cable bill is $4,000 a month.
Pac-12's high-fiving. They're like, dude, we're global.
Tommy Lloyd is he's killing it. There's no other way around it. Coloco is a monster down low. Their defense is awesome. They play with so much.
Coloco can dominate without scoring too.
Yes.
That's why he's amazing. And he's 7-1.
He was okay last year, but he wasn't like he made a leap.
They can coach.
Creaso made a leap. Dude, that dude has swagger and wears the headband.
I like how they act as a team. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I feel bad for UCLA playing them. It's going to be an interesting game.
Part of the internet, and someone's going to fact check me on this and say like all these guys are international, but all of them were like 2 years old when they moved to America and grew up going to American high schools and all that. But I do think there's something to their advantage of being of not. I don't know how many of these guys did grad. So full disclosure, I'm an absolute moron. But maybe there's something to an advantage of not growing up in America, Tate, that the idea of being having a target on your back, say like Purdue did tonight with being number one, or like the ebbs and flows of college basketball, you're not privy to them necessarily. You don't really understand like the idea of like Arizona, like the idea of going on the mountain trip in the Pac-12 and sweeping that. Like that's really hard to do. We know through history, we've seen. How many of those guys even know what they
No, they don't even know them. They're like, what are we doing? We're going on what trip?
Like, dude, do you know where I'm from? Like this is the least of my worry. Playing Colorado and Colorado. Come on. I'm not worried about that.
This is sick.
This is sick, dude.
Yeah. It's like, the John Grisham book, Sully, you know what I mean? It's like the travel over. I mean, and NBA Africa for the people that, once NBA Africa starts growing as it already is, there's going to be more kids that are coming over here to play college basketball. And Tommy Lloyd, the international icon.
He's going to get them all.
I don't know if he's going to get them all, but because Florida State's going to get a lot of kids.
Florida State's going to get them all. And Arizona. They're going to both get them all. I don't know how.
You're right, though. There is some talent internationally. And if you look at the NBA, it speaks to it. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player in the NBA. But some people want it to be Kevin Durant or Anthony Davis because we're used to having an American guy being the number one player. But it's changing.
Yeah.
Changed.
So there you go. I wanted to shout out Arizona. If you've not watched Arizona, try to change that. They're a lot of fun. They play a fast brand of basketball. As I said, they have swagger. They're huge. What else would you want out of a basketball team?
They beat Wyoming by almost 30, and Wyoming was undefeated going in.
They were undefeated going in.
Yeah.
They did not come away from that game undefeated.
They are 8-1 now.
They basically have destroyed everybody except Wichita State took them to overtime, but Arizona, where did they play Michigan? That was that
was a neutral site. I think so.
That was in Vegas. That's right.
Yeah,
that was in Vegas. But that was when they popped on everyone's radar because Michigan
beat them by 18.
Yeah, they smoked Michigan, and then everyone's like, "My God, is Michigan broken?" And
no one even gave them credit. That's classic Pac-12.
Yeah,
they blow someone out, and we immediately go to the other team.
Yeah.
Even though we talk about the losers on the show, we're part of the problem. But
you give it. If Villanova beats Baylor this weekend, that UCLA beating Villanova will be erased from the history books because the narrative of that game will be Villanova is so good. Villanova has already beaten Baylor and played well against Purdue and UCLA now. And like the whole idea of UCLA beating them, throw it out. It's more about Villanova playing, taking UCLA to overtime in Pauley Pavilion.
Learning lessons
along the way. And they're your new number one.
I like it.
That's how it works in the Pac-12.
I'm better with Nova as number one. That's fine.
What else did I have? Just to put a bow on it, because there is Pac-12 slander going around out there, and you got to be careful.
Lot.
You got to be careful. They get the Pac-12 slanderers get stronger every day. The haters, I don't know how they do it, Tate, but they just get stronger.
I just don't understand
day.
what's the end game. Like, why do you want to hate on the Conference of Champions?
Because they live on the East Coast. It's just a coastal battle, dude.
It is.
It's a cultural war. It's a
culture war.
Politics. It's
a war on the Pac-12.
It's a war. It's a war
Make
on
the graphic.
Make the graphic, Jim. The war on the Pac-12 is what it. Because what it really is the East Coast bias of if the Pac-12 sucks, then all the media people on the East Coast don't have to stay up late to watch the Pac-12 games.
Yes.
But if you live in a world where USC, Arizona, and UCLA are all top 10 teams, which they are, and they will be at some point. I think all three of those teams will touch the top 10 at some point. If USC gets the number one, by the way, at any point this season.
Great for Coach Titus.
My dad.
We're going to have to play that video back.
We're going to just I think all those teams are going to end up being top 10 teams at some point. And throwing Gonzaga in the mix. Now suddenly, if you're on the East Coast, you're getting mad because, oh my God, Gonzaga or what was it? UCLA Villanova tipped off at 11 p.m. Remember that? And everyone was
I watched it in North Carolina. It tipped off at 11:30.
That's right. And you know where I watched it? LA. And it was 8:30. And I was like, this is a great time to start a basketball.
Honestly, you know what? On the East Coast, I was like, this is fun. You know what I mean? People were out and they still want to watch the game. Bars don't close until 2. I mean, you got time. But the haters that are saying this are usually writers or bloggers or whoever, like you said, because they don't want to stay up late. And we also understand that, because shout out to the Jays, we get it. You want to go to sleep.
I just want some transparency.
Yeah.
Like if
just
they
let
came
us
out,
know where it's coming from.
If they just came out and were like, I don't want to stay up late, so I'm going to vote against every Pac-12 team in the AP poll. I'd be like, I respect it. That's a framework. That's a point of view. It's
a man with principles.
That's a man with principles, and that's really all we ask. What I don't want is for you to have this agenda and keep it secretive. Just bring the
tear
agenda
down the Pac-12.
Yes. Stop tearing down the Pac-12 because
you want to go to bed early.
There are 3 teams in this conference that could win a national championship. That doesn't even include Gonzaga, who's an honorary member. UCLA, USC, and Arizona. I do think you heard it here first. I think all 3 of them are good enough to win a national championship this year. I don't think they'll all 3 win it. I do not mix my words. Do not quote me on that.
There will be 3 national champions from the Pac-12.
No, I think when the tournament, by the time March rolls around, I think we're going to be staring at our brackets and say, I could see a world in which any of these 3 could win a national championship.
I'm still riding UCLA.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
I haven't changed.
Shout out to the guy, last Pac-12 note, some guy slid into my DMs as I was driving in today. Tonight and just said, Arizona State, this is true. He said this. You're going to love this. Arizona State is about to put Grand Canyon on the Friday fraud power rankings. And I was laughing because I was like, buddy, if you think Arizona State Grand Canyon
is going to be on the radar.
I have sworn off Arizona State basketball for at least 365 days. At least.
I mean, I think we've already talked about them too much on the show.
If Arizona State, but in all seriousness, if Arizona State beat Grand Canyon by 60.
This is also for you, Wildbags.
Yeah. If Arizona State beat Grand Canyon by 60, I think I would just come on the show and start laughing.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even give Arizona State credit. I would just
also,
be like,
there's a high chance that Grand Canyon wins that game.
Yeah, what's the score? Let me pull it up.
Yeah, please check that out. Because Grand Canyon's pretty solid, right? I mean, they're building a little foundation there. We still got to go to a game and see what they do before games.
I do want to go to a game there.
Yeah,
man.
we got to go pregame there.
Harry
said
they're going to win. It's 65-62 with 1 second left.
Who's up?
It says Arizona State. It's at Arizona State, so
doesn't count if they don't get to 69. Doesn't count.
Oh, good point.
Yeah,
good point. All right, let's take a break. Speaking of those fraud power rankings, I have them. They're here. They're ready.
They're ready. They're cooked up.
They're staring me right in the face. So let's take a break and we'll come back and go through those. All right, fraud power rankings. Let's get into it. You know how it works. I have my 5 frauds. We're gonna go in reverse order. And
Virginia fans, I just had to point this out before we start. Virginia fans that have been reaching out to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they don't reach out to you. I mean, I guess some of them can because some of them don't know
we're too close. Because they're
very upset with you. And I tried to explain to them that this comes with the territory. And I think you did reiterate, to the Virginia fans once upon a time that you would have to turn heel on them.
It's
They're
not even
ready for it.
I'm not even turning heel. I'm just like it's called credibility. It's called like when Tony Bennett comes back, and he will be back. I'm not ready to say Tony's dead yet, Tate. It's just when that day comes and I say Tony's back, you'll know I mean it because I've been honest. Just like when I said I love Tony and I believed in Virginia and God's plan. That wasn't bullshit, Tate. That was genuine, and I genuinely believed it. Just like I genuinely do not believe in Tony Bennett right now. It's genuine.
I'm not all the way off. I can see Virginia figuring it out in the ACC.
All right, fraud power rankings. Here we go.
Yeah.
Number 5, Worldwide Wob. The what would we call him? The how would you describe who this man is to
an
unknowing audience?
An internet
troll?
poster.
No. Aggregator?
A poster boy.
A poster. So this guy, I don't even know what he looks like.
I think aggregator is the right word.
Aggregator is the right word.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the dude looks like, but he follows 10 million people on Twitter.
He went to North Carolina. You know this.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Do you know him?
No, but I know he went to North Carolina.
Did he really?
Yeah, that's the only thing I know. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
sucks for.
Yeah. Well, the good news is that I don't think he promotes that too often. So I mean,
I don't think he promotes it. I think he's like is he an actual person, or is he like a amalgamation of
I don't know.
You know how people think that like there's a theory that Shakespeare didn't actually exist and it was just a bunch of people writing plays for shit. I sometimes think that's his Twitter account. It's just like a bunch of 23-year-olds that I don't know.
Yeah.
The tweet Zach LaVine just banished him to the shadow realm and skull emojis.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, so this guy is the maybe self-proclaimed king of NBA Twitter. I don't know. Picture someone who is like proudly on hashtag NBA Twitter. That's this guy. He retweets highlights and says this was sick, and then the army of virgins that follow him smash the retweet and the likes, and that's it. And he's built a nice little economy for himself. He's got a nice little career. This man today this was brought to my attention that he has invented this concept that he is calling the Snell Tate, that whereby when a player plays for an extended period of time, I believe he said 20 minutes, and does nothing on the court, records zero statistics, but plays for 20 minutes, that is to be henceforth called the Snell. Because
in reference to Tony Snell?
Yes, because once upon a time, Tony Snell played like 28 minutes and didn't have any points, rebounds, or assists, or whatever.
Which is a trillion.
It's a trillion. Yes, that is exactly why this man is number 5 on my fraud power rankings, because this man reinvented the trillion.
He's repackaging the trillion?
Yeah.
And the trillion's for everybody. Like a Snell is like, you know, the
Tony Snell is mean. It's mean to Tony Snell.
It's mean, and we like Tony Snell.
I guess this is why I'm upset, because I usually don't get upset when people steal shit from me, because
it's the internet.
It's the internet. That's how it works. You know, like I don't really care. Whatever. And to be honest with you, like I kind of stole the trillion idea anyway.
Yeah.
Like Keller told me about, like when I started the blog, it was because Keller, he pointed out to me that there was this concept of a trillion. I was like, that's hilarious, and I was like, I should base my identity around that. And then I started the blog, and then the guy who invented it reached out to me and was like, you stole my idea. And I was like, dude, it was my shithead friend that told me about it. I was like, I didn't know. I'm sorry. So I don't really, cause that would be hypocritical for me to care. What I do care about is that.
Shout out to Keller.
Not really.
Shout out to Keller.
What I do care about, Tate, is exactly what you said, is that the trillion was supposed to be a celebration. This is the idea of the trillion is.
It's for everybody.
It's for everybody.
Yes.
Anybody can do it.
You're a trillionaire.
You could
Shout
go
out to Bun B.
You could go play in an NBA game tomorrow night and post a trillion. 100%. And if you did, it would be a celebration all across this land. We'd all be watching it, and we would love you. And this man has taken that concept, bastardized it, and turned it into disrespected Tony Snell.
What the hell?
I don't like it. So number 5, fraud power rankings.
Great point.
Number 4 on the fraud power rankings, Florida coach Mike White. This flew under everybody's radar. This is something that nobody.
I missed this.
Yes.
And then I saw it. Yes. But I missed it.
In an alternate world, we probably lead the show with this, because this is the single worst loss of the college basketball season. By far. And it just sort of like just snuck under the radar. Florida loses 69-54. Race to 69, Tate.
Nice.
On their home court to a team called Texas Southern, a SWAC team. This is the first time a SWAC team has ever beaten an SEC team, and they beat them by 15. The number 14 Florida Gators. a team that may or may not have beat Ohio State. That's irrelevant.
Not
we
Texas
don't need to
Western.
talk about that.
Texas Southern.
Texas Southern. Texas Southern was only like 5 for 11 from 3 too. So it wasn't like it wasn't like a game where like Texas Southern's just throwing up everything and hitting, it's not like they hit like 15 threes and you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes those upsets happen where it's just like they did shoot 54% from the field though. And Florida was like,
but even that's not like egregious.
That's not, that's not 85 Villanova,
No, it's not unreasonable.
No. How did this happen? And why is nobody talking about this?
I didn't see it in the moment, and then someone sent it to me, the next day. I was like, what's going on with Florida? Then I had to retrace my steps and say, like, again, why is no one really checking in on Mike White? But Florida just moves on. And honestly, in every sport, even in football, like you could tell me that Florida beat Alabama, and I could believe that. You could tell me that Florida lost to Jackson State, and I would believe that. You know what I mean? And it's the same way with their basketball team. Like they are literally like anything is possible when you talk about Florida sports. You know what I mean? Like
is Mike White now going to be your new Mark Turgeon? Because he's the signs are all there. The signs are there that he could be the next Mark Turgeon.
Well, and he's the son of Kevin White.
That's true.
Son of Mike White. Mike White is the son of Kevin White. So I mean, he was also supposed to be the successor to Coach K at one time. There was a thought.
Where are we at with the Coach K successor power rankings? By the way, you haven't done those in a long time.
Well, you know what's crazy?
John Shire's number 1.
I still look back. I looked back at my notes because I had it in my notes, and I would update it. And I looked back to the last time that I adjusted it, and it was January of 2021, January 7th, 2021. And I had Coach K number 1.
As
his number 1 successor was Coach K. And number 2 was John Shire. So I was right. I was exactly where I should be. And I think right now John Shire is number 1, but Coach K is number 2. That's the only thing that's changed.
Florida was out rebounded 36-20. I don't know what I didn't watch a second of this game.
I know that's why I can't really comment. I didn't watch any of it. I saw it after the fact. I just wanted to point out that I checked the box score.
Yeah,
I still don't know.
Tough stretch for Florida, losing to Oral Roberts in the tournament last year, 15 seed, losers, and then now losing to Texas State or Texas Southern.
That was definitely the biggest upset. Everyone talked about it.
Disgusting. Number 3 on the fraud power rankings. We had to do it one more time. We had to slap him on the ass on his way out the door. Mark Turgeon. Never forget.
Oh my God.
Never forget that this man. Never forget that this man 8 games into a season quit on his team.
Yeah.
And then blamed it on the Maryland fans. Never forget that. That's a thing that happened, and that's fraudulent. And we don't like that on this program. So that's fraudulent. He brought in.
He thought he was safe. Mark Turgeon probably, he thought the storm had passed.
Yep.
And you throw him number 3.
He said he turned to his wife. He's like, "Honey, they're buying it. We're free and clear. We can poke our heads back
they're
out."
Blaming
Mark,
themselves.
Not so fast. You're a fraud.
Yeah. And shout out to the Maryland fans that were, they appreciated the fact that we stood up for them because Maryland had every right to be upset with this man.
Mm-hmm.
They were in Turgatory. When you're in Turgatory, you go a little bit crazy.
Yep.
You get a little bit deranged.
But now we have to answer the $1 million question, which is the next guy going to be better? But it almost doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be. He's just different.
Yeah.
He's just different.
Doesn't have to be. In fact, I wouldn't mind if they make some sort of, especially with that they have to pay the buyout, right? So
$5 million,
if they want to just say, hey, we don't want to spend a bunch of money this time around. We want to bring in Juan Dixon for 2-3 years, play that nostalgia card, and then go for the home run.
Bring in Juan Dixon just so everyone knows that Juan Dixon's not the guy. But we give him his chance.
We gave him his chance.
Yeah,
and
he's Matt Doherty.
And we get the people excited. And then, like Lonnie Baxter's coming back to games. And, Keith Gatlin's like, I want to be on his staff. You know what I mean? And it's just like this amazing all Maryland former player staff. And then 4 years down the road, they're like, we need Wes Miller.
We also shouldn't forget that Mark Turgeon brought in Fats Russell, the transfer for Maryland. And by doing so, Daryl Morcell, who was the heart and soul of Maryland basketball, who was a Maryland kid, decided, I guess that means I'm not going to get the ball as much as I want. I'm going to transfer to Marquette. And then Mark Turgeon quit 8 games into the season. So Daryl Morcell is playing for Marquette because of this. And that's fraudulent. That's all fraudulent. That just stinks to high hell of fraudulence. And
Morcell is, like you said, I mean, he loved Maryland basketball. He's a Maryland basketball guy.
Now he's playing for Marquette. So.
Well, maybe Shaka is a future Maryland coach. Might be playing for the future Maryland coach.
Everybody's Everyone's
going to Maryland.
Who's not going to Maryland?
Well, that's the fun part of that Maryland can finally enjoy.
Yeah.
That's why Purgatory had to end, because now we have fun.
Well, because you're the bachelor at the mansion, and all the women are lining up. But then
everyone's
the problem is
I could see myself with Maryland.
The problem is you're the bachelor, and you get down to 2, and you look at them both, and you're like, "Damn,
yeah, how did I get here? I kept making the safe pick."
Yeah. Damn. Number 2 on the fraud power rankings.
Oh,
a man who I'm going to start charging rent if he's going to be camping out on these fraud power rankings all season. His name is Tony Bennett.
Oh, wow. This is the Virginia fans.
Yeah.
They're upset.
It is.
They're upset.
Virginia lost to JMU at JMU, fall to 6-4 on the season. They should have lost to Pitt too. They should be 5-5 almost. So they need a miracle to beat Pitt. They should be on a 3-game losing streak. So, if we're talking like should be's, we're talking in a should be world. They're 5-5 right now.
Yeah.
Not great. Also, this sucks, but this is just the state of Virginia basketball right now. I saw that there was apparently I didn't pick up on this because I was trying to watch the game and the audio was garbage from CBS. I'm not even saying that because they're a competing network, but get your together. Like that was terrible audio quality from them. That would never happen if you and I were on the call at St. John's. But apparently there was an "F you Tony" chant going on from the JMU fans, and the fact that this man has lost all respect to college basketball, because I think if Tony Bennett is the man, this isn't his fault. I'm not victim blaming. What I am saying is Tony Bennett has, but everything coming out of my mouth is going to sound like victim blaming. I'm saying if he had the collective respect of college basketball like he should, that would never happen, Tate. But it did happen, and it's indicative of some problems, some rot that's growing in Charlottesville.
Tony Bennett is still playing the game of college basketball, and the game has changed. The fact that Tony Bennett went to JMU, like Roy Williams would do, schedule a real road game in-state at a small school, because that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like, these are all things that if you're still playing the game of college basketball, coach, bravo. It's going to work. It's a good move. Everyone gets it. But in this world of win now, in this world of
branding.
Yeah. It's the PR hits are too much.
Yes.
And that's why Roy Williams said, I'm out, because you know what? I scheduled college at Charleston so that my team can lose.
Yes.
But you can't say that.
Yeah.
But that's why he does it, or at least get tested.
Yes.
Because he knows it's going to be a real environment.
Because he knows the Bill Tituses of the world are like, it doesn't mean anything until you test yourself on the road.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So Tony Bennett's doing the right thing, but it's having the wrong effect.
Dire consequences.
It's the right logic, and it's the wrong pick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where we're at.
And that's where we're at.
But
good guy of the year, though. Right now, Tony Bennett is going to be good guy of the year.
We should also point out that his roster's garbage, and
it's not his fault.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault that fire the general manager. Gardner's basically the only guy on that team that, like, if you did an expansion draft where you can make all the guys, if you started a new ACC team and I can draft anyone from, all the other ACC teams, Jaden Gardner's the only guy in Virginia I'm even kind of considering. The rest of the roster. And I say that as a guy who kind of liked Armand Franklin and was kind of sad that he transferred from Indiana, because I thought IU could use a shooting.
He's got too much on him.
He can't shoot anymore. What the hell happened? I don't know what happened.
Well, we know Trey Murphy was the guy. I mean,
he was supposed to come back.
Trey Murphy was supposed to be the DeAndre Hunter of this team. He's supposed to lead this team.
Great call, Tate. I'll give you that, Virginia fans. It's not Tony's fault. It's Trey Murphy's fault. You know what? Change this, Jim. Tony Bennett is not number 2 fraud.
It's actually Trey Bennett.
It's Trey
Bennett. You call him Trey Bennett.
It's Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy is my number 2 fraud.
And guess what team he's on? The New Orleans Pelicans with Zion.
We got to talk about that. We wrap up.
Yeah. I hope he's number 1 on the fraud power. Or maybe we are. We don't even know.
Dude, number 1 on the fraud power rankings. I kid you not. I sat down today. There we go. Thank you, Jim.
Murphy,
Trey Murphy, new number 2 on the fraud power rankings. Number 1 on the fraud power rankings.
I think he's the 3rd, by the way. Trey Murphy. We don't want to disparage his grandfather.
Well, that's what the tray is for.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there you go. Maybe.
Yeah, it was his grandfather. Is he actually the 9th? Is he Trey Murphy the 3rd? Because that would be.
Let's see what his actual.
Is he the 3rd guy to be Trey? Because that's the 9th.
Oh wow!
Right?
Yes,
Jr.,
the Trey.
second,
You're
third.
right, Jim. The Trey is for the 3rd, and his name is Kenneth Murphy. Kenneth Murphy, and he's from Durham, North Carolina.
What is his name? Trey Murphy the 3rd.
No, his name is Kenneth Murphy.
The 3rd, aka Trey.
AKA Trey.
Yeah,
like Trip.
Trip is Trip
Like
is the
shooting
third.
a tray.
Chip is supposed to be the second. Dude.
No, skip is if you're named after your grandfather because it like skips a generation.
Really?
Is that true? I
Yeah.
can't tell what you guys are
No,
saying.
no.
Chip is being named after your
Dad.
Chip
is
your
second.
dad.
Chip off the
Jake
old
is
block.
second, and then
Block,
Trip is third. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Trey,
And then-
it's
and
like
then
a
fourth
three-pointer,
is
a
quad.
Trey. It's a 3. Trey. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
Trey
okay.
Parker.
Whoa.
Yeah, there you go. There's your update.
And then like all the sons, like Williamson is the last, is Ian Williamson. It was Williams.
He was
Son.
Williams.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh my
don't think
God.
that's true.
Names are wild.
I don't
Where were
think
we?
that's true.
Number 1 on the fraud power rankings. True story. I sat down this afternoon to get all my notes together. I really think about this. I'm sorry, not me. The fraud committee thinks about this.
Yes.
Put a lot of thought into it. Got to really study the landscape of college basketball and really hone in on it. And so I locked in the list, Tate, of 5 through 1. I decided I was going to put all my notes together so that way I could fully enjoy the Seton Hall, Texas game, the Purdue Rutgers game, the Iowa State game, get all my notes done before those games start, get ready for the show, and then we'll watch the games and then we'll go do the show. And that is a long-winded way of saying at number 1 on the front power rankings, I had Coach Titus. I had my dad at number 1 on the fraud power rankings before the Purdue game tipped off because Indiana
you
blew.
have no faith.
Because Indiana blew a 22-point lead to Wisconsin. I came prepared.
You don't get it, son. Indiana doesn't matter. Coach Titus. Coach Titus knew.
I have notes and notes for days about why my father's a fraud and why I'm not sure if we'll ever invite him back on the program after he comes on, talks smack about Purdue. Then immediately Indiana goes to Wisconsin, blows a 22-point lead. The biggest comeback in Wisconsin basketball history. IU has not won at the Kohl Center since 1998. On and on and on. And I was just ready to dunk on my dad. And then Purdue lost to Rutgers.
Coach Titus, your son owes you an apology.
Dad,
He didn't believe in the vision. You know what I mean?
I did not believe in the vision.
I can't believe that. I'm glad that you kept
So
it.
we're gonna
this
change
is
it.
honor. This is an honor system.
I wanted to tell the story of what happened. So it was
Yeah.
Coach Titus. I think we have to move it to Purdue then.
Yeah,
right?
Purdue's number 1.
My dad.
No, but the good news is Purdue's number 1 again.
Purdue is number 1 again.
That's the
you're
good
still number
news.
1. My dad did say, he goes, I don't want you to put Purdue at number 1 on the fraud power rankings. He goes, I want you to put your colleague and friend of the program who's been on the show before, Stephen Bardo, who
Whoa.
Yeah.
I love Bardo. Wait a second. Wait a second.
Bardo was singing Purdue's the entire game. Bardo was like, Purdue's going to win by, like, he was doing the studio work for Big Ten Network.
Yeah, yeah.
And at the under 4 timeout, I think they go to the studio and Bardo and Trent Meacham and I think it was Mike Hall. And Mike's like, what are we thinking here? And Trent's like, wow, it's a pretty good game. We'll see what happens. And Bardo's like, Purdue's going to win by double digits. And this was like with 4 minutes left.
No way. Did he really? Come on, Bardo.
So in the middle of my dad's rant, he mentioned Stephen Bardo by name. He's like, suck it, Matt Painters. No, he doesn't talk like that. My dad would say something, but he's like,
take that.
take that, Matt Painter. Take that, Robbie Hummel. Take that, Stephen Bardo. Take that. And I was like, whoa. What about Bardo? Bardo didn't go to Purdue. He's like, nah, but he was gassing up Purdue all night. You know? Anyway, that's where we stand. So number 1, Stephen Bardo /
Slash
Purdue. But we should point out Indiana choking at Wisconsin was
Yeah, that was up there.
I think there's a good team in there somewhere when I watch Indiana, but they don't want to reveal themselves for 40 minutes at a time. I don't think.
This doesn't count for Mike Woodson.
Your 1 doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
I think we need a Coach Titus
Stephen
Purdue.
Bardo.
Steve Bardo. We need
Bardo's gonna text me like, "What'd I do?"
we need the back meter for Indiana, like we have the integrity meter. Because I was thinking through this because at halftime of the Wisconsin game when Indiana was on a tear, dude, I was like, Indiana might be back.
Yeah. Last year, you famously said at the Asheville Invitational / Maryland Invitational, you looked at me and you said, "I think Indiana might be."
Who'd
back.
they beat? Providence in the first game.
Yeah, I think so.
And then Texas just boat raced them, and I was like, "All right, not back." But
at this time, Archie Miller was the head coach.
Instead of going back and not back, I think I had a vision, and I was thinking about this. What if we treat the backness like a game of horse where you have to collect letters and you can take letters away. So you have to get the B-A-C-K, and when you get the K, you're fully back. And I felt like, because like right now I feel like Indiana's at a B-A, and they almost had a C. I think if they beat Wisconsin, they would have had the C, and then they beat Purdue, they get the K, and they're fully back, right?
I think so.
So that's how I'm gonna measure it. I think Indiana's at an A right now. They're halfway back. Because it's too hard to be like they were back at halftime and then unback and then that's too much. Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
Yeah, I like that. I like earning the letters.
You have to earn the letters.
Yeah.
Then we can take them away too. So if you lose to Notre Dame,
so they have a B just for having Mike Woodson.
B was hiring Mike Woodson and getting my dad to believe in the program.
And Trace
again.
Jackson Davis.
A was starting out kind of hot and looking like a beating St. John's basically, because that was a game they lose under Archie Miller. So you're like, okay, they might be turning a corner. There's something different. And then they lost to Syracuse tonight, but it was an overtime and it was a good game. So I was like, I don't know necessarily want to take the A away. And then they were up big on Wisconsin, and I was like, are we seeing a C here? Is the C coming? And then the C, no. Anyway.
And it's gone.
Shout out Johnny Davis of Wisconsin, by the way. This guy's an animal.
Yeah.
What PEDs was he taking in the offseason?
I don't know, but Brad's jealous.
Dude, this dude is, we're going to talk about taking the leap, man. This guy is like he feels like a freshman, but he was on the team last year. I remember him on the team last year. But it's like, if you convince me, I'm stupid enough to you could convince me that Johnny Davis is a 5-star freshman that they brought in, and he wasn't you could gaslight me into believing that he's just like a new guy. He was on the team last year and he sucked. And then Alondo Tucker got fired. Do you think it was Alondo Tucker?
Yeah, it probably had something to do with it. I mean, I feel like Wisconsin, they just blame him for everything. But also, I think Brad Davison's a little jealous that Davis is taking his spot.
Davis. And he's Davis's son.
Yeah, I know.
You're
his son.
You're the son.
Yeah, he's your dad.
Son.
He's your dad.
It's not your team anymore, Brad.
Yeah, that's tough.
There you have it. That's the fraud power rankings. Shout outs? You want to wrap it up?
Yeah,
I have a lot of shout outs.
Well, I want to shout out the haters because they got to Zion Williamson and they got to us because it turns out that it looks like this Zion Williamson picture that we talked about, the sweatshirt, it could be fraudulent. There seems to be fake news because you pointed this out, the Duke official basketball account retweeted a guy who apparently took a recent photo as recent as today with Zion Williamson looking svelte.
But was the photo from today? Do we have proof? Was he holding up a newspaper? That's what
a lot of people were asking. They're like, how are we sure? The other news that we have, Zion has now missed more games in the NBA, 86 than he has played, 85. So that is an update. Also, I had forgotten this. Someone sent me a message earlier today. Zion Williamson broke 3 rims in the NBA last year. Did you know this?
Is that a good or bad thing? That's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing. I think it's a bad thing. He broke 3 rims by missing by jumping up, grabbing the rim, and then they had to basically put them back at the right parameters because he broke them. So Zion Williamson, shout out to you, but also shout out to the haters for getting it back on our radar. And the question remains, is Zion fat?
Is Zion fat? We still don't know. I saw Tim McMahon went on the Low Post and said that he's hearing that Zion's 330 plus.
Which I think that was fraudulent, by the way.
I think that was fraudulent. But I think
that's not true.
I think the picture of Zion being skinny is also fraudulent. I think it's all fraudulent. It's all fake news.
I think
that's where I'm at.
I think if we got Zion right now and he walked around the tunnel and came in here, he'd be 302. You know what I mean? I think he's over 300, which is why people were concerned, which makes sense. But also, I don't think he's 330 because if he was 330, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
That's too far.
It says here that Zion's been fat for longer than Neil Armstrong was
in space.
That's what I said. That's what the stat.
Honestly, Big Ten stat of the day.
I think there's this to consider about Zion because I was watching a little bit of the Nets Mavs game. I caught the tail end of that the other day. The little NBA I watched before Christmas. Luka's fat, dude. That's a big boy now. Luka, right? Am I wrong?
Luka's fat.
He's fat, and I was thinking about it because as I was watching it, I remembered Mina Kimes, I think, wrote an article right before the draft in 2018 where they were talking about this got put back on my radar recently, where they were talking about she was spending some time with Luka, and they went to the Hard Rock Cafe in Madrid. He said that his favorite restaurant, Tate, was the Hard Rock Cafe, and he ordered nachos with double queso. And it all I had the epiphany that I don't think fat is a physical trait. I think fat is a state of mind. And so my point here with Zion is it almost doesn't matter how big or small he is. What matters is his mind. You know what I mean? Because Luka is fat. Luka's a fat dude. If you're going to Hard Rock Cafe and saying, this is my favorite restaurant, watch what I get here. I get double queso on my nachos. That's a fat move. And I'm speaking from experience.
And you saw Luka addressed it, right? He addressed it after one of their most recent games.
He addressed the double queso?
He addressed not the double queso, but the being fat.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was like, I know I'm out of shape, he's like,
ripped a cigarette.
Drinking queso.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he went to Whataburger or whatever right after the fact. But I mean, he at least is addressing it. Zion, the worst part about it is that the mystery continues.
Yeah,
we don't know.
We don't know, dude.
We don't know, and we won't.
But
know.
I think but I'm talking myself into. There's a world where Zion is big, but he's not a fat guy.
Yeah.
But then the scary part is there's a world where Zion is ripped and he looks like that picture before he went in the bubble, but he's still fat. You see what I'm saying? It's the state of mind. It's like, where's his head at? Does he think he's a fat guy or not?
2 days ago, Steve Aoki was with Zion Williamson. 2
Do you
days
think he
ago.
just takes like
2 days ago, and he does not look that thick with Steve Aoki.
How many sweatshirts does he have on?
He has a jacket and he has a sweater underneath the jacket, which is tough to see. But in that picture, he does not look 330. Right?
But he does look. He looks a lot bigger than the jewelry picture.
He looks bigger.
He looks bigger.
He looks bigger. He looks bigger.
No, hang on a second.
But with Steve Aoki, who's not a big guy,
yeah,
he doesn't look that big.
God damn, dude, it's
a conundrum.
Do you think
it's a mystery.
is he just like getting in a sauna and like taking big shits or something like in between these pictures?
I will say the person that sent me the Steve Aoki picture that I just pulled up.
Yeah,
they said if you look at his shirt, it looks like he's sucking in.
This is so stupid.
So I don't know.
Oh,
it remains. We don't know.
We need eyes on Zion. If you're someone who's going to, he goes to the games, the Pelicans games. Is he there?
Yeah, I think so.
We need more course, but we need boots on the ground for this dude.
Who works for the Pelicans? Who knows anything?
We gotta figure this out.
We gotta call Trey. We gotta call Trey. That's our only guy. Trey. That's our only in.
Trey. I know I called you a fraud. Call our number 2 fraud.
We'll call him Kenneth when we call him so he knows that we mean business.
Oh my God. What else? Zion, so where are you at right now? Is he fat or not fat right now?
I'm going to go with not as fat as they say.
Okay.
They say.
I think I'm fearing that it doesn't matter where he's at physically. I think he has a fat boy mindset, and that's a problem to me. I'm worried about that. We got to change that thinking.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we change that.
In the final note, we should say, as always, we both love and respect Zion's decision to be fat. You know what I mean?
Dude, you're telling me.
Yeah.
I can't wait to
we just want to make that point known. Because a lot of people are listening. They're like, what do you guys like?
Dude,
no, we respect it.
No, we're not fat shaming. We're fat crowning. We're fat king, dude.
Like what they did to Giannis when they put the fake crown on his head. We want to do that to Zion. We want him to come to the studio and do that for him. Yeah. He has a career with us because we famously have a former number 1 pick as our co-host already. Right. Could you imagine?
Who also got fat when he got to the NBA.
You imagine if we called Greg and we tell him that he got replaced by Zion? Yeah. That's our new third co-host. Yeah. That would be great. That'd be great content.
Dude. Oh my God.
Greg, sorry, we got Zion.
Let's move on. I'm sure we'll talk about it next show because there'll be a new picture out, and it's the gift that keeps
I think
on
the
giving.
haters won. They won the PR war, but I think Zion's okay.
I just love that the official Duke Twitter account retweeted. They're fighting the battle. They felt the need to retweet a picture of Zion. Because he's not that fat.
If you think about it, again, it all goes back to Coach K's farewell tour. So that's a shout out. Shout out to Coach K farewell tour, the last season, final season, whatever you want to say. But also Duke's 2 most marketable players that if you look at their Twitter that they go for, as you know, number 1 is number 1, Kyrie Irving.
Oh, what?
And then number 2.
Kyrie's number 1?
No. I'm over their time.
Oh, okay.
Duke,
I got
let's
you.
look at the brand, the brother, hashtag the brotherhood. Since it started, they had number 1 pick Kyrie Irving as the face of it.
I got you.
And then there was number 1 pick Zion Williamson was like the passing of the baton. Yeah. And now both those guys are out. And Jason Tatum, who's like their backup golden boy,
kind of sucks.
Yes, I mean, come on, he's not 19 anymore.
Moving on.
Sorry, Coach K.
No, I don't want to mention Louisville. I had Louisville. Why would I do that? I don't want to mention Louisville losing their president and AD in the same day. That would be mean. I don't want to do that.
Don't do that.
I'm not going to do that.
Mike Rutherford's mad at the show.
That's why I'm not going to mention it.
Yeah, okay.
We're not going to talk about
don't
Louisville.
talk about that.
And I didn't even know that was possible to lose your president and athletic director in the same day.
Where are they going? Maryland?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike.
Let's see. Oh, Dean Smith and Roy Williams. Did you see this? Did you hear about this? There's a stretch of I-40 that runs through Chapel Hill that is being renamed in their honor. It's the Dean Smith, Roy Williams, I don't know, road.
Highway.
Yeah. What's where does this fall on the hierarchy of like having things named after you?
Pretty high.
You think a road is
is
a road like
state decision, state level
it's
decision.
an interstate, isn't it?
Yeah.
I-40. That's pretty strong. Jim, what do you think? Where do if you can think of like anything to have your name on, be like that's named after me. Bridge is pretty
McDonald's drive-through.
The bidet at the Ohio State locker room. I'm trying to get that.
Jim's the Bob Duato of McDonald's drive-throughs. He designs his own.
I think an airport would be pretty sick.
Yeah, airport's nice.
But the problem is like no one's gonna call it like if Charlotte becomes or Durham becomes the Tate Frazier Airport, everyone's just gonna call it the Durham Airport. You know what I mean?
I want
no one's gonna call it
like a theater, like Carolina Theater. You know what I mean? But
Carolina Theater, but it's Tate Frazier
Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice. Or the Durham Bulls. I just changed the name to the Tate
Frazier Bulls.
No, just the Tate Frazier.
Did you see that in Oklahoma they're renaming 3 inches of a desolate highway the Lincoln Riley?
Are they really? Is that serious?
Mm-hmm. 3 inches of a desolate highway.
I love college sports. I love college sports,
dude. That is wild.
Yeah. It's a proposed bill. Looks like it's going through Oklahoma City.
Oh, it's definitely going to get passed. I mean,
that's so good.
Everyone's down with that. So especially going to LA, you know what I mean? There's like nothing they can hate more. That's like sellout number one move.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris.
Somebody's quoted saying they found the tiniest section of our most desolate highway.
That's
a
hilarious.
Tribute to Coach Riley's exit from Oklahoma football in the state. The only fitting thing is the last 3 inches someone sees before leaving.
That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah,
I like that move. Actually,
I like that too. Yeah.
It's so petty and so stupid and hurt and everything else.
Yeah,
but
and it doesn't hurt anybody.
It doesn't hurt anybody.
It's going to cost the taxpayers like $39.
Yeah. Every Oklahoman paying that tax is like it's okay with me.
Elementary school would be cool. What about like a basketball move? Like you get the Sham God. Like anytime someone does it, they're like basketball academy.
Yeah, Donda Academy.
I don't know, but anyway.
No, you're right. Like Sham God having a move like that.
That'd be really sick. Like anytime someone does something, they're like, dude, he hit him with the Frazier.
Yeah.
That would be
Snell.
sick.
That'd be nice.
The Snell. God damn it.
Oh, that's already taken.
It's like someone.
I thought Club Trillium was what the people he follows call each other because there's a trillion of them.
Trillion.
Except me. I feel like I'm the one person on Twitter he does not follow. But if a random person, if I look at it, Worldwide Wild follows that person. Or Harry.
He follows everybody, but apparently, does he follow me? Probably doesn't. That's probably doesn't know.
I think he does follow me. I follow him. He's a Carolina guy.
I follow him too.
I think the best thing you could have named after you. I just thought about this. The best thing is to have like a fallacy or like a like what Occam's razor. You know, like what? Because that makes you
box.
Yeah, that makes you sound so freaking smart, dude.
Yeah.
If you're like, oh, what we have here is a real Titus fallacy.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, what's that? And you're like, well, yeah, there's this guy, Mark Titus. Like, he was smarter than everyone. And he saw this. And
it's like Ralph Lawler, dude. He has Lawler's Law. You know what I mean? Having a law is good too. Yeah.
Murphy's Law.
Murphy's.
Yeah. Maybe not that one.
Yeah. But still, it's kind of interesting.
That's pretty funny.
Just to like have your name attached to something that's everlasting is pretty epic.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it.
We can't even keep the name of a show for 1 year.
No. I was thinking about changing it at the end of this season. I think we go back to One Shining Podcast.
I'm going to rip through some other ones quickly. We speak your name, Caden Rice, Georgetown, hit 10 threes versus UMBC. Caden Rice, we speak your name. You hit 10 threes. That's awesome. Steve Forbes, head coach of Wake Forest, has the Demon Deacons at 8-1 as Danny Manning is taking over at Maryland. So,
huge for Wake Forest basketball.
Steve Forbes, we speak your name. They just beat Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech.
I know. It was a good game.
EJ Liddell, 6'7" man, is averaging 3.1 blocks per game. And I just want to call that to everyone's attention that a 6'7" forward for my Buckeyes is averaging 3.1 blocks per game. EJ Liddell, we speak your name. Michael DeVoe leads the country in scoring because Keegan Murray had a stinker tonight at Iowa State. So Michael DeVoe is averaging 23.6 points per game. That's not a lot, is it? For the leading scorer in the country?
Yeah, no, that's not very high.
That sounds pretty low, right?
Yeah.
Shoeboy's averaging like 15.4 rebounds, I think.
Interesting.
That's like That's got to be we got to get research on that one. What's the smallest gap between the points per game leader and the rebounds per game leader? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get on that. But anyway,
where's our stat guy?
Michael DeVoe, speak your name. The San Francisco Dons are 10-0, best record in college basketball. They have Academy of Art University coming up on December 28th.
No way.
So circle
I'm
that
watching that one. Yeah. I'm locked in on that one.
Lock in on that one.
Remember, people forget that the Dons beat Virginia last year.
They did. They started this.
Yeah.
It was their fault.
Yeah.
Finally, Mark Emmert, we speak your name. He said that being a university president is the hardest job in America.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to take some time to acknowledge that and
Thoughts
say
and prayers.
we're thinking of you, Mark. We're praying for you and all your university president brethren, including the Louisville president who left Louisville. But we're not going to talk about that. We're not talking about
what would he possibly think would come of that statement? You know what I mean? Like what could he, when he said that, what could he have thought that would bring? I mean, unless he was talking to a room of presidents, you know, and it was like his way to.
Did he have a
to
smile on
curry
his
favor.
face as he said it? But that man never smiles, does he? Unless
He must wink a lot, or you know, like snicker, like like an evil villain, a vaudevillain or something.
Yeah,
he's something else.
It's words spoken like a man that's never once done a college basketball podcast. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah,
it's very clear he's never once tried this.
Could you
sit in my seat for one day, Mark Emmert?
Can you imagine if he came on this show? Seriously, like how confused he would be. He's like, are these guys just like
Mark? You want to stick around for the fraud power rankings?
Yeah, we have him on. We put Condoleezza Rice number 3. He's like,
what else? Where am I? Oh man, Mark Emmert, we speak your name. That's about all I have. Oh, Winning Time. Did you see this trailer for the Lakers thing? What are your thoughts, Jim? You're the film aficionado.
I think it looks great. I think John C. Reilly over Will Ferrell looks like a good call, even though it's weird because that thing came out with Adam McKay about how he didn't think Will Ferrell would look enough like Dr. Buzz.
Yeah.
It's weird, though, because John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell look so much alike.
That is true. They do kind
of look alike. It's such a weird argument for him to make, but it looks great. Magic Johnson, man.
I was going to say, I think John C. Reilly looks perfect as Dr. Buzz.
I was surprised
was
at how
this
much
the
he
thing?
looked like
Is Bo Burnham still in this, or he's not? He had to drop out. Remember when he was cast as Larry Bird?
He was?
This was the thing. Bo Burnham was cast as Larry Bird, I think.
I thought that was like a bit. I didn't know that was real. That's
I swore that was real because I thought
it probably is real. I mean, it does check out. I feel like he could do that.
He's like 6'5" too.
Yeah, no, that's hilarious. Well, and also Larry Bird's hilarious.
I don't know if he's still in it though. I think maybe he.
Nick Kroll used to do Larry Bird.
Yeah.
They could get him.
That's so good.
Bring back that costume.
Final thought.
Shout out to the Kroll show.
It's a great show.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun time.
Turtly.
Yeah.
Dolphinately.
God. Comedy Central used to be so fun.
So
you know what I
good,
mean?
dude.
And not even like that was like at the end of Comedy Central when the Kroll show came out. But wow.
Games to watch this weekend. I'm going to put these on everyone's radar just because you might not be aware. Syracuse at Georgetown. There's 3 rivalry games that you should circle. That you should make note of, Tate. Syracuse at Georgetown on Saturday. Missouri at Kansas on Saturday. And Cincinnati at Xavier. Crosstown shootout on Saturday. Which one has your attention?
Oh my gosh. Crosstown shootout.
Definitely.
Always.
Yeah. Dolphinately.
Turtly.
Yeah. Turtly.
You have no doubt in my mind that I will be locked in on that game. I mean, there's a lot of great rivalries in college basketball. Louisville, Kentucky is not one of them. But the Crosstown shootout is one of them. I mean, that is
why every year at this time we talk about how like we have to go next year and we have never once done it. It's because I'm going to tell you why.
COVID.
Damn COVID. Got another one. I think it's because these teams, they're never ranked, dude.
Yeah.
And so it sneaks up on you because the apps I look at are always just like the top 25 ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I see like what games do we have this weekend, and
it's same with Google. I think it's a blind spot. I think that Google, the algorithm, you know, and look, we don't care to understand how algorithms work, but whoever is in charge of the algorithm needs to get Google just to have like highlight games. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be top 25, AP top 20. As Coach Titus taught us, they don't know.
They don't know what they're talking about. Yeah.
So it needs to be driven by like searches, you know, so people are searching for these games and then they repopulate. It's like most popular games right now.
Facts.
Google.
Also on Saturday, Houston at Alabama. That'll be a good one. Arizona at Illinois.
That's a good one.
That's going to be a great one.
That's the game that I'm watching.
Wisconsin at Ohio State.
No.
Okay. All right. Fine.
And it's not because of Ohio State. Love you, Coach Holtman. I can't watch Wisconsin.
Kentucky at Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm interested. Mike Bray we need Mike Bray to get back.
Arkansas versus Oklahoma and Tulsa. All these are on Saturday, by the way, that I'm saying right now.
That's pretty impressive.
St. Bonaventure versus UConn and Newark.
I like that.
That's going to be a good one.
That's a fun game. I might bet on that game.
UCLA at Marquette. All of these games are on Saturday. Loaded Saturday. If you're someone who's like worried that college football's over, what are we going to do? What am I supposed to do on Saturday?
Upset alert.
What am I supposed to do on Saturday? I'm telling you, park your ass on the couch and watch college basketball day because there's awesome games all day. It's going to be great. And then Villanova at Baylor on Sunday. So there you go.
If UCLA loses to Marquette and then Baylor kind of blows out Villanova, does Villanova fall or does UCLA fall out of the top 25 with the Pac-12?
Yeah, maybe. Is that your big upset? Take one big swing. Is it Marquette beating UCLA?
I think it's Marquette
on this list.
And I love UCLA.
I really want to do Georgetown beating Syracuse as my big swing.
Syracuse fans were talking a lot of junk early in the year to me, and I haven't heard from them.
I'll do Notre Dame over Kentucky. I don't know. It's just a vibe pick.
That's a vibe pick, and it's such a good pick because it's so off the beat. I was just looking today because in my head I was like, how far has Kentucky fallen? You know, they're at 10.
They haven't. Yeah, they lost one game. They lost the first game of the season.
Yeah, to Duke.
To Duke,
and then they're just like
they haven't played anybody.
They're just hanging around, and Duke hasn't played in a week, by the way. So that's why there's a chance that Duke just goes number one because people were like the last time. But I guess the last time we saw them, they lost to Ohio State. But there's a chance.
But now Purdue has lost, so it's less embarrassing.
Yeah, everyone's like, man, Duke was the best team.
By the way, Ohio State wore red jerseys when they beat Duke at home.
Yeah.
Rutgers wore red tonight at home. That's weird. That doesn't happen in college basketball a lot. You don't see the home team wear the dark color, but they did it twice and number one teams lost. So
they know something.
They know something. Yeah. Write that down if you're going to be playing a number one team coming up.
All
right, that's it. Enjoy the weekend. Watch all these games. We're going to be talking about them on Monday. See you guys then.